All right, everybody. We've got Indy NXT from Richmond here tonight, live on P1. Our second short oval of the season, following 2 weeks of mile-and-a-halves. We take to the inspiration for the Iowa Speedway we saw during week one, Richmond Raceway here in Richmond, Virginia. Get ourselves a timing tower here. People progress through practice. We've got a lot of heavy hitters in the field tonight. Current points leader for this series, Crash Neon, makes the field. We got Seb Alexander, Kyle Clenworth, Matt Taylor, Chris Wetz, Brian Campbell, AJ Pritchett, Jeremy M.D. McRoy makes another appearance. Glad to see him. Indy Kirkwood, the prodigy, he's here as well. A lot of guys looking to show what they're made of in this near 4,000 strength of field here tonight. I believe the official number is 3,930 on the strength of field tonight. Sizable group of guys here tonight. And we will hop into qualifying now. 5 minutes for qualifying. Best of 2 laps. We're going to hop on board with Chris Wetz. And I believe this is the Callum Hedge car he's got on tonight. He's going for it. We've been informed by the drivers that this is going to be a fairly high line dominant race, relatively speaking, as we see Chris have to lift off turn number 2 there. Avoid hitting the outside wall. He's going to try to wind it back up on the outside lane here. Get ready for his second qualifying lap. Much better exit there for Chris Wetz. See where this lap puts him. Bit of a lift into 3 and 4 there. Stays in 6th gear. Wetz to the pole with a 17.176. See if anybody's got anything for that. Check on Treston Fortson. Once he gets rolling here. He's out of the pit lane now. Good to see the track rocket machine here of Treston Fortson. I believe this is the first time we've had him on the broadcast here for Indy NXT. He'll do his first outlap, or I guess his only outlap. Head off into turns 1 and 2. He'll gun to hit the bottom here in 3 and 4. He opts to downshift. Bit of a change there. That's lap 1 in for Fortson. Puts him 10th on the board. Second lap a little bit faster for him. He qualifies provisionally 7th. Any other cars out there rolling now? I believe we've got Indy Kirkwood slowing, potentially. This will be his second lap, I believe. He might just be out here logging laps. No, that was lap 2. Puts Kirkwood second on the grid here tonight. Got ourselves a 70-lap event here tonight. Should be a fairly orderly race tonight. Sounds like there was a good bit of action in the top split Oval Fix Series just a moment ago from the same venue here in Richmond. A lot of drivers sounded pretty excited after the outcome of that one, so hopefully we get a couple more that come out of this race with similar feelings, because we've got a couple cars still out there setting times. Some different names making up some additional appearances here. We got Miles Morse in the 13 machine here tonight. Believe I've seen a good bit of miles on the dirt here in iRacing. Got a minute left to go here in qualifying. We'll see if anybody is still out there taking time. It looks like Brian Campbell is the only one doing anything on the speedway at the moment, so I'd imagine that this session's going to end sooner rather than later, mayhaps. Just have to see. Currently no cars active out on track. Quick reminder for everybody that if you appreciate our coverage here, we do these on behalf of the community. If you'd like to support us monetarily, we have a GoFundMe link in the stream description, or you can hit us with a super chat. Glad to see sizable audience here tonight watching the 4th round of the inaugural season of the Indy NXT Oval Series here on P1. We will get to a starting grid momentarily, get out of people's cars to do so. On the pole will be none other than Chris Wetz, taking over for Andre Castro here tonight, his teammate. He'll be on the pole tonight alongside Indy Kirkwood in second in that Miles Rowe car for Votive Racing. AJ Pritchett will line up third alongside Crash Neon, your current points leader, in fourth. Noah Gill will line up fifth in the number 16 machine. Matt Taylor in the MadWorks entry will line up sixth. Hunter East will line up seventh in his number 5 machine alongside Treston Fortson in the Track Rocket number 12. Dale Prokop Valaket will line up 10th alongside Brian Campbell in the Rogue Racing number 4. We've got Connor McMillan in 11th, Matthew Molnor in 12th, Jeremy M.D. McRory makes another appearance on the top split here in Indy NXT. He'll line up 13th alongside Seb Alexander and his plain white IAR machine in 14th. Kyle Clenworth will line up 15th in his Rogue Racing number 2, and Miles Morris will round out your field in 16th. Apologies for that. We will get back to the pylon here. Get to the front of the field with Chris Wetz leading him off the pit lane. Believe this should be... Is this going to be 2 laps around here, or is this only 1? The lights are out on the pace car. We'll see if it pulls off here. Be somewhat surprising given the way that the field's lined up right now if that pace car pulls in. It does not, so we'll go around one more time here on the 3/4 mile Richmond Raceway. See if maybe we can get a higher in the sky shot here. There we go. We can see a good bit more here from the blimp as the race will get underway this time by. Drivers looking to warm their tires, get accustomed maybe with the high line here. Seems to be the name of the game given the word on the street, so we will see just how much that opts to ring true here. As the pace car will lead the field through 3 and 4. Pull off now, leaving control of Chris Wetz. Wetz is going to launch. We go now. Wetz to a good launch. Kirkenbauer drops to the bottom behind him. We'll see how the rest of the field reacts behind. Matt Taylor opts for the high side. 3 wide deep in the field. Hop a couple cars back here to Crash Neon in 4th, working this high side here. He's going to make the pass on AJ Pritchett for 3rd. We'll see if Matt Taylor opts to repeat. Goes for the high side in 1 and 2 here. He's going to sail on by Pritchett. Almost hits the wall there. See if he's able to recover here. He's going to rip it nice and high here. He'll fight Pritchett for the 4th spot. Get a tighter camera angle here towards the track. Move Taylor up to 4th. Chris Wetz with the fastest time of the race so far with a 17.5. Good bit of motion near the front. Saw a car fall somewhat deep off the start there. I believe that would have been Tristan Fortson losing a couple spots early in the going here. He's down to 9th. We will hop to the battle for the lead as Chris Wetz leads Indy Kirkenbauer. Indy is hot in tow within 0.2 of Wetz. We're going to see if Indy can regain some ground here as Wetz starts to pull away. This gap is growing. We'll see if Matt Taylor's got anything for Crash Neon as well. We'll hop onto Crash's car to try to get all of these battles in here. Taylor shoots to the bottom. Easy going for Matt Taylor. He'll move up to the 3rd spot. Good bit of shuffling near the back of the field now. Everybody's getting back to single file moving. Hop back up to Matt Taylor here as he now leads the best of the rest here as Indy Kirkenbauer has narrowed that gap back up to Chris Wetz ahead, down to 1.5 of a second. We'll see if he can slowly reel Wetz in, if he's playing a patience game here, trying to keep those tires underneath of him. I imagine on this short, tight, very aggressively on the tires here at Richmond, you see a lot of cars slide all the way out to the wall off of 2 and all the way out to the wall off of 4, using every bit of track width they can get in these cars to try to build as much speed down the 2 straightaways here. Hop a little further in the field now. We'll hop back to the battle for 10th. If we can find it. There it is. Ryan Campbell behind Tristan Fortson works the high side, making it past Connor McMillan for the 10th spot. McMillan's going to look to the bottom on Tristan Fortson here. I believe Fortson's suffering a connection issue, which would be most unfortunate for him if that ultimately costs him spots or worse, a crash in this race. Wetz has opened the gap up pretty sizably over Kirkenbauer now. A little over 0.3 now. See if that's a temporary change or if Wetz maybe found something to start pulling away from Indy. Good bit of jockeying just outside the top 10 between McMillan and Fortson. McMillan keeps wanting to run that low line to try to take it away from Fortson. Move to the battle just behind them. Miles Morris, he's up a couple spots here tonight. He started 16th. He's up to 12. We'll hop on board with Miles here, see if we can get an idea of just what he's seeing out the cockpit of his number 13 machine. See Fortson on the high side there. That's interesting. Jeremy M.D. McRory, or is that McMillan's car? Oh, whoa. We got somebody into the back of Miles Morris. He goes around.
Caution, yellow flag.
We're going to have to go back and see what happened to Miles here. Oh. Find Miles. Oh, we got another car in the pit lane now. We're going to have to catch up with everything going on here. So we'll back this up off of turn 2. This seems to start in turn 2. So we've got Miles here running about the middle lane in the corner. See him hit the wall. Another car hit the wall. Another car in the wall behind that, and Seb Alexander's got nowhere to go. He jumps over the top of, I believe, that's Jeremy MD McRory. And that'll be at least 4 cars out of this event as Tristan Fortson's also involved. Dale gets out of there okay. We'll hop back to the front of the field here. Quite the turn of events very, very quickly. Caleb Brashear chiming in with, darn, maybe I should buy this track. I think it's one of the best in the sim, Caleb. It was one of my favorites back all the way to the NASCAR Thunder 03 days. It was one of the first tracks I could usually win on in the career mode, so it's one of my favorites alongside New Hampshire. Kind of my bread and butter tracks there. David Lee's here for Indy Kirkenbauer. We're all Indy Kirkenbauer fans. The young man from the Votive Racing camp. He's out there in his Miles Rowe scheme. So we've finished now 20 laps of this event. We still got another 50 to go here as we sit under the yellow flag. The first yellow of the night. 4 cars involved in that crash. Tristan Fortson, Jeremy MD McRory, Seb Alexander, and Miles Morris all unfortunately had nowhere to go once cars started smacking the wall. I believe that was starting with Morse, as we saw him get hit in the back of on his onboard camera and spin going into turns 3 and 4. Broadcaster curse is in full effect here in Indy NXT. I need to just get off the onboard shots, and we'll hopefully have a bit better luck for these drivers here. We'll hop back to our trusty blimp cam, get a better view of this restart that is about to take place. Lights are off on the pace car. We will see what the field has in store for us in this single file restart, the first one of the night. Cameras brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. If you're a sim racing photographer or looking for some good cameras, Whiplash Sim Cams has got you covered. Nice electronic pylon in the infield there. We'll see the pace car pull off here. Chris Wetz has control. He launches.
Green flag.
Kirkbauer wasn't quite ready for that. We'll see if Matt Taylor's got anything for Indy. We saw Matt Taylor work a couple with cars through the field. I believe he started 7th or 8th here tonight. See if he's got anything for Indy. Got a pass on the high side. Pritchett over Gill. He pulls ahead. Hop back to that battle for 5th spot now between Gill and Hunter East. Believe that's East on the high side. He takes that spot from Gill for 5th. AJ Pritchett, I believe that's a Pabst Blue Ribbon car. Either that or it's Steak and Shake. That looks like Pabst, given the side of it and the blue. So Matt Taylor now hounds Indy Kirkenbauer for the 2nd spot. He's 2/10ths back. We've got Clenworth a lap down now. He's in the pit lane. Looks like he's got a meatball flag. May have suffered some damage and opted to try to stay out before serving it. So he'll sit 12th in this pit lane. Hop back out to the track here. Believe the closest battle is now the one for 6th and 7th between Brian Campbell and Noah Gill. Kirkenbauer sits the fastest lap of the race with a 17:07.4. We will see how this race continues. Looks pretty par for the course for a road to Indy race here at Richmond. I'm not quite sure what we got in the IndyCar proper here tonight, but I'd imagine it's not super far off. Likely a bit more tire degradation, I would imagine, especially given it's a 120 lap event through the IR18s here this week. Move back to Indy Kirkwood now out to about 6/10 over Matt Taylor. It's about even gaps between our top three right now. I believe the closest cars on track will now be Pritchett and Hunter East for 4th and 5th. Although, looks like we've got Noah Gill still fighting to try to maybe find something around Brian Campbell here. We'll stay on this battle for now. See if any gaps start to close here. Taylor's slowly starting to creep his way towards Kirkenbauer. See if that's a temporary move or if that continues to be the case. So we've got 11 cars still running here tonight. Chris Wett's your leader, followed by Andy Kirkenbauer, Matt Taylor, AJ Pritchett, Hunter East. Crash Neon has now moved up to 6th, making it past Matthew Molnar. Molnar is in 7th. Brian Campbell is 8th. Noah Gill 9th. Connor McMillan is in 10th. And Dale Prokop-Balaket runs 11th and is the last car on the track and on the lead lap. Just about halfway here. We'll jump back to the front with Chris Wetz here for a couple laps. Seems like the field is more or less spaced out here at the Richmond Raceway. See if maybe some cars are starting to play with the tools a little bit. We'll hop on board with Brian Campbell. Actually, we'll hop on board with McMillan. He's opting to run the high side here as he works his way past. Believe this is going to be Noah Gill on the bottom here. Or is that Noah on the high side? It's Noah on the high side. He takes the spot from McMillan. We'll hop to the back of this, and we'll follow along with Dale here at the tail end of the field. Real big lift. McMillan's got the MC on the back of his car. That's fun. See if he can work his way forward. Hunter East and Crash Neon are having a bit of a battle here for the 5th and 6th spot. We'll move to that now. So we're here with Crash Neon now on the inside of Hunter East. Hunter East is to our outside here. We can hear that 4-cylinder turbocharged engine on the outside of us here. We'll see if Crash Neon's able to slowly work his way forward. They are starting to catch AJ Pritchett ahead, although AJ will start to pull away until they can sort this out. East will gain the spot over Neon, put him to 5th. This is starting to work its way out. Hop back to an outboard shot here at the conclusion of this lap for Crash Neon in the 6th spot. Move back to this battle from the air. Good bit of movement throughout the field. We've seen some cars kind of work their way ever so slowly forward. Has somewhat spaced out here. Hunter East is all over AJ Pritchett now. He's reeled that gap back in. See if he can start looking for a move on Pritchett to move into the 4th spot. Have to check back with battle for the 8th spot. As Noah Gill leads this train of himself, Campbell, Dale Prokop, and Connor McMillan. Dale's on the low side. Everybody else trying to run as high as they possibly can, gain that momentum down these straightaways. High side is looking to be preferred for now for Mr. Campbell here. He rides 10th. And we'll move back to the battle we were just watching earlier with Hunter East hunting down AJ Pritchett. Crash Neon runs 6th. See what he can do with East now that he's kind of back in the battle here. He'll look low. We're over halfway, well over halfway now, so we'll get the 2 go here. 22 to go at the line. Chris Wetz with a 2-second lead over Indy Kirkenbauer, followed by Matt Taylor, AJ Pritchett, and Hunter East, you see on camera here, with Crash Neon in tow. Matthew Molnar in 7th, Noah Gill in 8th, Dale Prokop in 9th, Connor McMillan 10th, and Brian Campbell in 11th. Last car running tonight at the moment. Hunter looked like he had something for Pritchett a couple laps ago, but has now fallen back towards Crash Neon. Looks like they're kind of settling to ride for the next however many laps. We'll see if maybe some tire life starts to show for either of these cars. One maybe having a little bit more than the other. Matt Taylor has slowly also started to reel in Indy Kirkenbauer ahead. That gap's down to 0.6 of a second. Was about 7 or 8 a couple laps ago. A lot of battling going on towards the back of the field here. Got Campbell on McMillan. He'll close the door on that. Start to try to pull away now. We'll move to the battle ahead here between Noah Gill and Dale Prokop. Prokop will look low. Real tight off the exit here. Prokop with the slight advantage. He'll stay low. Gill will stay high. Now Gill with the advantage down the front straight. Side by side for the 8th spot, rather. Dale will make the pass. Gill will look back to the bottom, seeing if he can make a move. We'll move back up to the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th between Pritchett, East, and Neon. 13 left to go in this event. Gaps have basically stabilized all around the track. Chris Wetz out to a 2.6 second lead. He found something tonight. Whether that be clean air, whether that be his in-car tools, maybe the brake bias is helping him. He's rolling through the corners. We'll hop on board with Chris. Give him a couple laps on the cockpit cam. See what he's doing. Bit of a lift here. He gets back in the throttle on the exit there. Stays in 6th gear. We saw a couple cars opted to drop down to 5th, but Wetz here he's looking to stomp it. We'll see if he gets into lap traffic here. Doesn't believe that'll be the case, as they're about 8 seconds ahead or so. Or sorry, 3 seconds ahead, rather. Yes, a win for Wetz is going to be big for the points tally there, Caleb. If he can hold on to it these last 10 laps. Believe that'll put him in control of the championship. He has yet to run this week. This will be his entry for week number 4 here in the inaugural Indy NXT Oval Series. was expecting to see an appearance from Stephen Hart, the current reigning champion of the Junior Open Wheel Oval Challenge Series that utilizes the Indy Pro 2000, now known as USF Pro 2000 in the real world. I don't know. Those cars up ahead are starting to get bigger. We'll see if Wetz opts to get closer. As we see, I believe that's Campbell and McMillan side by side for the 10th spot, or at least fighting for it. You could hear those tires start to wear on Wetz's machine. Coming down to the wire here. We'll ride on board one more time here with Chris before we hop back to the battle for 5th, as it looks like Crash Neon is looking on Hunter East. So we'll hop to an outboard shot now of that battle. Crash Neon still hunting down Hunter East for the 5th spot. We will see if he's got anything left. Three to go at the line. Two to go. We'll hop up with Chris back at the front here. He's getting closer to those lap cars of Campbell and McMillan. He'll come to see the white flag this time around. One more lap to go. Our 70-lap event. All out of sorts for McMillan. He'll get past on the last lap here. Not quite sure if contact would have been made there between him and Campbell, but Campbell likewise pulls out the way. And Chris Wetz will be your winner here tonight. Andy Kirkbauer in 2nd, Matt Taylor 3rd. AJ Pritchett will be 4th. You've got Hunter East in 5th. Crash Neon 6th. Dale Prokop in 7th. Matthew Molnar in 8th. Noah Gill in 9th. Brian Campbell will round out your top 10 just barely on the lead lap. See him come across the line. Looking at the results here. Connor McMillan will finish one lap down in 11th. Kyle Clenworth in 12th. Treston Fortson in 13th. Jeremy M.D. McGrory in 14th. Seb Alexander in his IAR machine will be 15th. And Miles Morris will finish where he started, 16th and last on the night. Tough break for a lot of these cars outside the top 10 here tonight, as we see Chris Wetz opt for the burnout on the front straight, winning here tonight. Classic short track action, in my opinion. Looks a lot like other races that I've seen or been a part of here at the Richmond Raceway. We'll see if we can get some interviewees for the top 3. Get Matt Taylor caught up to something that's not him riding through the pit lane. All right. Here we go. 6th starting spot for Matt Taylor here. See if anybody wants to come on through. Got Indy back. We got Matt back. We'll get Matt on up here shortly. Matt Taylor, Jacob Collins, P1 Broadcasting. You got me?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you found a bit of something to make passes here tonight. We saw a couple of great moves early on in this race from the high side for you. Kind of talk us through what you're feeling after a nice solid 3rd place finish here tonight.
Yeah, I think I was a little maybe just a little bit braver early on the colder tires, and had a little bit of pace from the guys around me, so I had enough that I could set up a few moves. But once kind of the tires came up to temp, there's a pretty solid aero wall there at about 7/10 back. You don't quite get enough draft to make up for it, and they would have taken some mistakes. And then after that restart, I smacked the wall and bent the right front. So just to kind of keep in touch with Indy there I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, we kind of saw the field string out after a good couple of green flag laps kind of soaked in and people were getting more comfortable and in a rhythm there. Do you feel like that there was maybe just a good string of or a good waft of dirty air playing into that, or was there a bit more in the car that maybe could have been done had people been closer together for a bit longer?
Yeah, it's hard to say because I think I don't know if it's something with the car or the way it interacts with the track surface, but it's not that dissimilar to what we saw even at like a Charlotte where it kind of ends up as a single lane where it's like you can't quite the inside line doesn't have to slow down quite enough, but there was the real risk of just plowing off the corner. The car had very little grip on exit, so you were if you got the line a little wrong or you didn't quite have enough grip, you would plow up into the wall. So that was probably your best shot to make up ground was kind of off of mistakes and hitting your lines. But it would be really tough to pass somebody like the leader who's got the clean air.
Yeah, it's something we've kind of seen in races here in the other Road to Indy cars, the USF and the Indy Pro, where it becomes more of a battle of who can hit the line consistently and kind of be out ahead at the start. Although it did seem like a good couple cars throughout the field were able to kind of get side by side and fight each other. So it was once you got the cars next to each other, it didn't seem too hard to keep them there, kind of go back and forth, but it's just getting them there that seems to be somewhat difficult. So you made it work pretty well off the start here, got your spots made, locked in a third place finish here tonight. Feel free to give shout outs anywhere you please. Podium finish, floor is yours.
Once again, shout out to the team as we gear up to head into Pro Q with this car, which is going to be an adventure, I think, with the way this thing races on some of the tracks, and um, hopefully with the open setup stuff, the racing opens up a little bit more, and there are some advantages to be found there, but we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of people looking forward to that pro qualifying series starting up in a couple weeks' time, I believe, at Long Beach for their first round in 1 or 2 weeks' time. So we'll hope to catch you out there for that. Have a good one, Matt. Congrats on the P3
Thanks,
finisher tonight.
appreciate it.
That is Matt Taylor, your third place finisher here tonight. I believe we've got Indy Kirkenbauer, who finished second. We'll get his car on screen before we bring him on up here. Get the right guy on the screen. All right, we got Indy Kirkenbauer on the screen now. Is he heading towards the pit lane in this shot yet? Doesn't look like it. We'll get him on up here. Indy Kirkenbauer, Jake Collins, P1 Broadcasting. You got me?
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Well, Indy, you've got another podium finish here tonight. Not quite the win you had last week at Texas, but a P2 finish is nothing to scoff at in its own right. Talk us through your race. You kind of stayed in this spot all night. Didn't look like you had anything for Chris. Talk us through what you felt tonight.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for Chris. It was really hard to pass because of the dirty air. Um, I don't know what the passing was like behind me, but it was just, I know third place couldn't get around me. I couldn't get around first. Everyone was going pretty much the same speed. Um, so yeah, I guess there wasn't really a lane two. Tried that out a couple times, but I'll take a P2 with lots of championship points. Chris is probably going to be leading it, but hope I can be on the top three for that. And yeah, I had nothing for him. He was flying.
Yeah, and you've run a good bit of the Indy Pro 2000, that Junior Open Wheel Oval Challenge series, of a good bit. And this race tonight kind of reminded me of one of those here, where once the leader kind of stretches out and gets away, it's impossible to do anything unless they get caught up in lap traffic. Do you feel like that's kind of equated here, and it's a bit more akin to those cars than, say, maybe the Indy car here?
Well, last season, I know I did a lot of Junior Open Wheel Oval at Richmond specifically. And it was better than this. I've had a lot of last lap battles in that. Like, you could really get around people. That would, out of all three of the Formula Car Series on ovals, that's probably the most fun here. I mean, the Indy car, you could at least run multiple grooves, but if you got under someone, you couldn't pass them without wrecking them. So it was just, yeah, that race was hard. I made the field save, but just had a bunch of damage the whole race, so it's hard. And at least you're able to get a podium here. And the P2, hopefully some of the future weeks will be a little bit better. Hopefully, I'm hoping Gateway. I think Gateway will be really good.
Yeah, I think we'll be optimistic for more of the flatter tracks in these cars. I think is where they're going to hit their stride. You know, people have talked a good bit about maybe running Mexico City at one point. That's got a flat 1 mile oval at it. So we'll see where this car kind of develops and hits its stride. You know, we've got a solid idea now of what it's going to do on these intermediate short ovals and some of the 1.5s now. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that continues throughout the season. P2 finish here for you, Indy. Great to see you up here again. If you got friends, family, any shout outs you want to make, floor is yours.
Yeah, my go-kart sponsors are Fremont Functional Fitness, BG Emery and Associates, the Allen Clyde, and Make Something on YouTube.
All right, well, good finish here tonight for you, Indy. We'll hope to see you next week in the Indy NXT Series. And you have a good night.
Yep, you too. We'll see how Dover is.
And that's right. We do have Dover on the docket next week. We do have Chris Wetz here. We'll see if I can queue up a shot of his car. We're going to keep it parked, I think. It's best. Actually, we could probably get him doing burnouts or something, so we'll slow his car up, get him on up here. Chris Wetz, Jacob Collins, P1 Broadcasting. You got me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, Chris, you started from the pole and kept it there all night. Talk us through kind of what you were thinking working that 70-lap event here tonight.
I focused pretty much on qualifying just because I knew that track position was probably going to be huge. And in the race, I didn't really know how much the tires were going to wear. So I was just really focused on taking care of the right front tire because I knew at Iowa that we destroyed the right fronts there. So I just knew I had to take care of that. And I guess it worked out. I guess there was enough dirty air behind me to keep people back.
Yeah, we had a number of guys kind of talking about it being difficult to pass past, the first couple of laps. We saw maybe deeper in the field, cars were able to get alongside of each other over the course of the long run. But do you think that there was anything? Do you have any comments on maybe as you started catching lap traffic late there that you felt like your car was getting impacted by the air further ahead of you, or had you not really hit anything?
I think I was a little far back. I was starting to push pretty bad at the end anyway, so I don't know if I really would have been able to tell that much of a difference, but it was, in general, I was starting to push pretty bad in the last 10 laps. I don't think they had a huge effect on me. I was kind of just making sure if they wrecked, I wasn't going to get taken out in their mess.
Yeah, that's always a factor here on the short ovals is that lap traffic can play a much bigger factor, especially the closer you get to it, and it's harder to avoid a potential crash, especially late in the going. So we'll see if kind of how this car continues to develop over the course of the season here. We've got Dover next week, which will be a 1 mile high banked oval track. We'll see if maybe that offers some additional opportunities for multiple passing lanes throughout the race. But congrats on the win here tonight. If you've got friends, family sponsors, anybody you want to shout out, floor is yours.
Thanks. Yeah, Bar Visuals, all the people interested in motorsports. Hopefully, we get something going for the Indy Pro qualifying series. That's about it for me.
All right. Well, good to see you here on the top step finally here, Chris. You've been showing up week in and week out, and it's good to see it finally pay off for you.
Yep. Thank you.
And that is Chris Wetz, your winner here tonight. That'll round out the coverage of Indy Next Oval here on P1 this week. We'll catch you next week for this series at Dover. Same bat time, same bat channel. Monday night, we'll be featuring the Road Series at, I believe, Portland. Portland will be next week. Then we will have, likewise, tomorrow night will be FIS. I believe they're taking on another road course. Let me get the exact track here before I forget. They are taking on Barber Motorsports Park. That'll take place at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday, Mark Murphy will have coverage of the AMA Xfinity Series live from Las Vegas at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Sunday, we'll have coverage of the PRI Hoosier 500 Open Test at 6 p.m. Eastern Time alongside the Votive Racing League from 8 p.m. onward at Las Vegas. Want to thank everybody for tuning in to the coverage here tonight. Chris Wetz, your winner here once again. Andy Kirkebauer and Matt Taylor rounding out that podium. for everyone. Getting all the wrong things on the screen. And to those that perform all the difficult jobs around the world, to let us do all the fun things that we do, we thank you. Have a good night.